y'all. We kicking it in Atlanta. We talking to the people, and I have this beautiful young lady here. What is your name, age, and what's your relationship status?
I am Trude. I'm 22 and I'm currently taken at this time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I imagine that you got plenty of girlfriends, plenty of ladies that you know in the Atlanta area. So even though you got somebody, you're in a relationship, in your opinion, are most women in Atlanta single, or do they got somebody that?
Majority of women in Atlanta are typically either single or married. I typically don't hear a lot that are dating at this
Mhm.
time due to the type of man they have available.
Okay, do you hear a lot of complaints about a dating struggle, or do you think women are able to find a partner and a husband, relatively easy?
So women typically do have a high standard based on everything they do see on social media, causing it to be a little bit difficult for men. And also, women do are now showing a higher standpoint of income. So it's typically harder for a man to, if a woman's looking for a man with the same income or making around the same range of income that she's making, to find a man in that region, making it a smaller intake of men that she's more willing to talk to or date. A lot of women in Atlanta are not willing to date below their income
Hmm.
or below a man who could provide typical standards or expectations that's what you're requesting at this time.
Well, so we got to be clear. You're saying that you think that most women in Atlanta are out earning men, or do you think that they're expecting the men to earn significantly more than them? Is what you're saying?
Women in Atlanta are outnumbering men in cost of making and what they're making.
Really?
As yes,
I
it's
don't know. I
actually
gotta research that.
yes, it's quite common right now that a lot of women are making more than men. And it's making it a little bit difficult for women because they want a
You
man.
say
Say
some women are making, or you say
majority of women.
majority of women are out earning the majority of men.
Yes, they're out earning
All
right
right,
now,
all right. I don't
based
know.
off
I take
because
your
a
word for
lot
it, I
of
guess.
women
Mm-hmm.
are in the beauty industry. It's a lot of easier to get money.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, than more men than they're getting in this typical, working a 9 to 5. And a lot of women nowadays don't want a man who works a 9 to 5 if he's
Mm-hmm.
not making corporate type of money. That can make it a bit difficult for a man. Some women don't want to date a man who's working at like Home Depot at
All
this
right, so you're
time.
saying hairstylists make more money than barbers, kind of thing, is what you're saying. Like there's more.
Hairstylists can make more money than barbers, yes.
Yeah, so you're saying there's like more money in the industries that the women in Atlanta are pushing into than
Yes.
the guys typically are.
Yes.
Okay, all right, well fair enough. So do you hear a lot of, I guess, women saying that I guess these men aren't good enough? Is that the main complaint? Is financials the financial thing?
Also, they're not doing like the basics. Some women are not getting a man who just offers flowers, typical dates here and there. They're not getting the typical things they're one of their expectations.
Mm-hmm.
I hear that. Also, it's a high rate of domestic violence in Atlanta,
Hmm.
so that can also be one of the reasons why a lot of women don't like to date.
All right, well let's try this. Let's just say I guess the men are the problem, and the men aren't doing X, Y, Z, K, L, and M.
Hmm.
Uh, wouldn't that mean that there's like a lack of motivation? I mean, if there,
It can
if
be.
there was something over there that the guys wanted bad enough, and that was the threshold that they needed to pass, eh, wouldn't they pay the price of admission? Basically, wouldn't they do whatever was necessary to get to the women?
Yes, I'm pretty sure a lot of men are trying what they can do to get where they want to be in life.
No,
It
no, no,
is
no, no. I'm saying, well, the women specifically. Do you think the women are enough motivation for the guys to do or accomplish whatever it is you're saying that's
no,
not good
I
enough?
don't believe it's enough motivation just for a woman telling a man to motivate him
I
on
didn't
a
say
daily
telling
basis.
them. I said the woman herself. Is she even worth all of that? You get what I'm trying to say? Like it sounds like these women want these guys to make so much money and whatever else, but like, what is he getting? Let's say hypothetically he started earning 250 grand a year.
Hmm.
What is he getting? What is he getting in this woman that costs so much?
Yes, I understand that because it comes to like what do you bring to the table type of
Mm-hmm.
conversation. It depends on the woman. I can say that some women bring certain things to the table. Not every woman can bring. Some women are not willing to compromise. A lot of women are not willing to do the basic needs of what a woman is or be a nurturer to a man, which is why a lot of men are not willing to motivate themselves to work harder to provide for a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do believe men are trying their best to please women the best they can, but based off the things women are requesting, it's a little bit of a higher standpoint, so it's a little harder to keep a woman happy.
Like, I would have to like figure out a way to do the research and see, of the men who fit the bill of what women are describing collectively, how many of those guys are like married? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Or
Maybe,
it's either-
maybe
they're
80,
ma-
90% of them are married. So it's like, okay, I guess the women
They're
are
either
worth.
married or not realistic. Typically,
Mm-hmm.
with the men they're requesting, they're not even a realistic category or something they couldn't even accomplish themselves.
Well, I'm saying, if these guys did exist, the question is, are they interested in these women? Are they interested in marriage and all this kind of stuff?
I would think not.
Because, I mean, I'm just saying, it just sounds...
That doesn't, in my opinion, I would think not.
It just sounds like there's more women going around that want that than there is men that have that. So now it becomes, well, the men that are in that position, what decision are they making? Because you're saying the women are opting out. The women are saying, I'd rather not even date. Well, okay, well, what are these guys that qualify? What are they saying? Are they...
I think they're just going with the prettiest women of their
Yeah.
category or whatever
but-
woman that they would prefer.
Well, if beauty is that standard, then what would be the reason to keep her? I mean, there's beauty everywhere. I mean, that's why I'm here, because the question is, why are there so many beautiful single women in Atlanta? Or any major city for that matter.
Well, then that boils down to a man's, what he wants and expectation he wants from a woman, because then that would be his preference in a woman. I do know beauty is number one thing in Atlanta.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that's not really like a long-term kind of thing. What I'm saying is, if that was the appetite, then men would just keep swapping these beautiful women out because they're in abundance. I don't know. Maybe we just solved the problem. Maybe we solved the enigma here, because if a guy is earning significant money and he's tall and he's handsome, why would he settle down if he could just get what he wants with variety?
That is true. That is true.
You know what I mean? It's the woman that needs to keep that one guy to get what she wants. He doesn't need to keep that one woman to get what he wants.
That is very much
He probably
true.
gets more women when he doesn't commit, because she's waiting around for the commitment. Whereas if he does lock a chick down, then there's no more chicks.
That's very true. When it comes to that, there is an abundance of women. There are typically some men that are swiping in between women. But when it comes to women, I do know their expectations are quite high when it comes to men, which makes it really hard for men to fit their bill or feel like it's worthy enough to, be pushing to satisfy this one woman when there's another woman that's just as beautiful, that's not asking me for all these expectations that you're asking me for.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question, and then I'm going to propose a question. I'm going to propose an offer on behalf of all men's out here, right? And you tell me, you got to represent all women's when you say yay or nay. Okay, so first, is your man making equal to you or greater than you? And if greater than you, to what percentage? Or do you even know?
Greater than me. What I know the percentage, no. I do know he owns a rental business, a rental car business. I wouldn't be able to tell you how much money he's making. I do know he does do the basics of providing for me, and I do my basics of being a nurturer of a woman.
So you're not tripping over the actual amount. You just know that it's.
I know he's able to
it's
take
enough
care of
to-
me. He's
right.
taking
It's
care
enough
of me.
for the lifestyle that you
That I'm
enjoy.
living, yes.
Okay, so now with that being said, okay, now I'm gonna propose my shit. Okay, so if mathematically there's just less men that are performing at the level that women want, and I think that that's going to be consistent no matter what, simply because if the men were to improve what they got going on collectively, I think women would just simply raise the bar. I think no matter what, women are going to operate in the top 20%.
Yes.
Whatever that is. If the top 20% is earning 100K, then that's what they're going to go after. If the top 20% was owning 500K, I think they would still operate within the top 20%, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I think women are always going to discard the lower 80% of the options. So let's say that's the case, and we can't really do much about that because that's the math of our biology. Would women be willing to share these top dudes? If these top dudes were upfront about it, because let's be realistic, for the most part, single women are sharing these dudes. They're just sharing these dudes outside of ownership or commitment, whereas they're not claiming each other and adhering to this agreement. They might still somewhat be keeping their options open, looking for a guy that's going to commit to them. Women will wait around with a high-profile guy and until another guy basically commits to them, and then they'll be like, all right, well, we can't do this anymore because I got somebody now that's finally ready to give me what you have been denying me. Meanwhile, they'll allow themselves to be available to that guy indefinitely, right? or whatever time frame or limit they give them.
Yes.
So let's say hypothetically, guys were to say, okay, you know what? I've bust my ass. I've gotten to this level, and you want to share this with me. Fine, but you're gonna have to share me with other women because that's what I want. If you want access to this abundance, I want also access to abundance. But it's not just gonna be random people all the time. It's gonna be the 1 to 3 women that he chooses. Do you think that that's a viable option that will satisfy both sides?
No. A lot of women are definitely going to disagree with that. Women like to be in monogamous relationships, but still be able to get all the benefits. A lot of men who do typically have poly relationships, they do have a better longevity in their relationships, though. It has been shown with that, but a lot of women are looking for monogamous relationships with high expectations. So it's like you can't pick and eat everything you want.
That's what I'm saying. That's not, but that's. I feel like that's not going to happen. I feel like the guys are the ones that are holding the leverage at the end of the day. The top 20% of guys are the ones that
Yes.
really control things, and I think that's who the women are going to have to appeal to. And let's follow this train of thought. Let's say for some reason women said, okay, instead of sharing these men indirectly, let's just be on the same page, and I know that he has Keisha, you know what I'm saying, and Kimberly and me. And that's what it is. I think what would happen now is I think the next thing we would witness is lower quality guys starting to raise their value now because there's more for them at the finish line. Because now it's like, well, hold on. Instead of wasting my time, energy, and resources trying to chase these multiple chicks now for a little bit, why don't I just consolidate all of my efforts across that finish line, and then I'm entitled to 2, 3 women of my own because that's a thing now.
So I do believe some women are willing to compromise as long as they're getting what they're willing to get, or they're getting whatever their expectations are. But there are a majority of women that are not going to compromise. They prefer monogamous relationships when it comes to men.
But they're not getting it, though, is my point. They prefer it, but they're not getting it, right? So if you look at the incentives, right? Let's say just the black community in general. A lot of the guys are following the images of men that have gotten what they think that they want. Whether they actually want, they think they want it, right? So we think we want the money and we want the bitches. That's what we think. I just want to be successful. I want the money, the clothes, the hoes, I suppose. So we're following the images of the guys that we think got that, which tend to be guys with celebrity. But that's a very low vibration way of acting that out. So ultimately he wants multiple women and he wants access to multiple women sexually. That's what he wants. Now that could be a bad thing if the character that you take on is poor to get that living situation or to get that lifestyle, and then the women that you're attracting are also low quality women who are willing to be groupies and share this guy that's not going to commit to them, and then it's reckless, it's all over the place, bunch of baby mamas type thing. Whereas if they said, all right, I'm going to stay in school, I'm going to learn a trade, I'm going to build a business, whatever I got to do to be successful and be at that level. I might not be famous, I might not have all the celebrity, but I'm stable, I got great credit, I own property, I own business or whatever, and now I can have these multiple women, but not for casual sex and interaction, but I can have these multiple women as actual wives. So I have to come to them correct, meet their family, do the whole 9 yards, court them or whatever. But once that's secured, she's my woman. No one else has access. And then I level up and do that again. Maybe I level up and I do that again. Now I have 3 wives, but all of my children, you know what I mean, are my children. Me and my woman have a great relationship, or me and my women have a great relationship. So it's kind of like the same impulse, but one is acted out within sin, and the other one is acted out righteously. And then, but the women are still getting that high value dude, but instead of it being Chris Brown for 5 minutes to take a picture with him, it's a dude that's their actual husband.
I truly believe women find any reason to disagree, and they're going to disagree.
That's right.
Even if they're getting everything, just the fact that they would have to share,
it's like no.
It's a no.
So they'd rather have nothing of their own than share a man that technically is their own, but isn't only their own. So they'd rather take Ubers instead of share a car.
Yeah.
Basically.
Whatever is, if they have to share anything, I do know most women do not like to share.
Because think about it. If you take an Uber, somebody sat in that car before you, somebody's going to sit in that car after you. You see what I'm trying to say? But if you buy a car with 2 other women, you're only sharing it with those 3 women, and it's always going to be there when you want it or need it, or you just have to kind of coordinate the schedule.
Typically women who like those type of men, men typically let them know up front, and typically women, when they let them know in front, that it's now of their court whether or not they want to take the opportunity the man is giving to them. And there is some women who are willing to take that opportunity as long as you're taking
Smart
care
ones.
of them. But a lot of women are not willing to compromise in the issue of sharing a man with another woman, even if it is a poly relationship, or
Even if
one
it's
of
marriage?
even if it's marriage, like how some Muslims do marriage and they have multiple wives.
No,
So
you
a
mean
lot
like
of women
the rest of the world does, but yeah, go ahead.
they're not willing to compromise.
Yeah, but those relationships, they seem to be, they're thriving. They're doing great. I lived in the Middle East. They're doing great. I've seen it with my own eyes. So my point is, it's working. In comparison to what we're doing, it's definitely, first of all, what we're doing is illegal in those countries.
Oh yeah.
Children out of wedlock is illegal in those countries. So that's how bad they consider our, relationship path.
Yeah.
They consider it haram. It's illegal and it's a sin.
Women like to take the long route. I mean, there's not much you can say when it comes to women. They're going to do what they want to do at the end of the day, even if it's for their best of their benefit, or it can help them succeed in the long run. So
All right, so let's say we just give up on those women because they refuse the offer. And that's how business works. I come to
Yeah.
you, I make an offer, you say no, I go to somewhere else, I go to some other people and make the deal. So if women are collectively saying, nah, we're not sharing dudes, we're not doing that. We're also not gonna help a guy become successful later. We're not gonna put in the time with a guy. Nope, you need to already be what it is. What happens if the successful dudes, the next batch, right, of successful dudes, let's say from 2026 to 2030, all the successful dudes that are arriving say, hey, you know what? I'm not even going to try to argue or negotiate with these women here. I'm just going to go ahead to Zimbabwe, to Kenya, to Ghana, to Nigeria, to Ethiopia, and just go ahead and snatch me up a woman. They won't mind. They got plenty of them. The population's crazy. They got plenty of beautiful black women that are unmarried. I'm going to just snatch me one of those, start me up my family. What do you think the response from American black women is going to be if that becomes the trend? Bust my ass, get successful, and just snatch me a foreign wife.
they're going to then start the competition of picking over an American woman and conversion from any other ethnicity type of woman. As a person of another ethnicity, it is different when it does come to men. I am of a Haitian background. Typically with our men, you are married and typically you do stay with your man for a long period of time. It's not a typical thing to have a lot of divorce in Haitian culture, as well as a lot of Caribbean culture in other countries. I do know women of American ethnicity will be very much unhappy, stating that we will be, in quotation marks, stealing their men.
But would they do something is my point. Like, what would the response be? Yeah, they're going to complain, but are they going to actually try to adjust something? Because I don't know if you know, but supposedly Donald Trump is changing the laws to whereas if you marry a foreign woman and you bring her here, she can't just like divorce you and take your stuff and stay in the country. If she divorces you, she got to leave the country basically, and she ain't taking nothing, not even the kids. Do you think that's going to really change the game? Because now men can bring their women back here and they don't have to uproot their entire residency and acclimate to a whole new culture and a new country. They can literally just bring her back here and move her into his house, and it is what it is.
I think women are going to adjust. Eventually, there will be a certain handful of women who will be willing to compromise and see that the man that they're expecting, they're now willing to make some adjustments in what they're wanting just to take that type of man. So there are women like that on a daily that men can come across of, but there are going to be men that's still going to go outside of their ethnicity and find a woman who's more willing, who doesn't have to do a lot of compromising, willing to start from the jump.
Well, who do you think has more options and leverage in the global market? Do you think it's women in general or black women particularly, or do you think it's the men that have reached a level of success that American women have put the bar at? Because let's keep in mind, if you go somewhere else, the bar is actually lower.
Yes.
Here, they want you to be making 100+ K a year, and even that's sounding like it's not enough for a lot of women, whereas 60K a year is phenomenal to women in the majority of the rest of the world.
So what I do believe, I believe any other ethnicity other than American women typically are willing to date a man of a lower tax bracket because as long as they're doing the basics of providing for a woman, typically women of the other ethnicity, they're fine with it as long as she's taking care of them and the household. Women typically are looking at social media and trying to compare their regular lifestyles to celebrities and things that they want to obtain, and trying to put pressure on men to provide some of those things instead of working hard for it themselves or asking for things they couldn't provide themselves, which is making it a bit of a miscommunication when it comes to relationships for them, because you can't ask for something that you can't give yourself.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, even in that situation, I think men have the advantage and the leverage even there, because social media is powerful, but it's relatively new. And then also, these women are trying to emulate a lifestyle that they don't actually have. They're trying to present themselves as they wear these brands and they, drive these cars and they live this lifestyle. Really, technically, they really don't. Whereas what has made black men very popular and desired around the world, that is kind of true. Like, we're kind of born having those qualities. So what I'm saying is, Hollywood, the music industry, all of these influences is far older than social media. So they're already embedded in people's minds for generations. So I think a lot of black men, once they leave this particular rock, their value shoots up. Even if they were to go to Western countries like Europe, black men from America in particular already have somewhat of an advantage culturally, right? They're already looked at as cool. They're already looked at as, these trendsetters, right? So that within itself, I think, is a huge advantage. It's not just the money, so to speak, just these women knowing that, I have a black man, an American black man, it's like, that's already way up there. And I don't think black women have that same influence around the world. I don't think they go to China or Japan and the Japanese guys are like, oh my God, the American black woman, I want you, my wife. No, not at all. Not even fucking close. So I feel like if they don't make a deal with us, they're going to be shut out of the market. I don't think black men are going to be shut out of the market. I think we have a forever good card in the global market.
That is true. When black men do travel to other countries, they're more likely to get a woman from another country based off the standards they're willing to have, and also the type of men they're willing to have, and black American are willing to give to them. The type of man that average black women are asking for, it's not realistic typically. But there are some women that are not asking for a higher thing. But when it comes to black men in other countries, they are willing to get the woman that they are of a desire.
All right, black women, y'all better do something. Y'all running out of time. I'm just saying, letting y'all know, y'all running out of time.
Very much so.
Yeah, I gave up 2 decades ago, so. I'm trying to help y'all out, man. All right, so catch us on the next one. You want to say anything to the people before we get up out of here?
Make your expectations make sense and be realistic with your expectations. Do not expect something you cannot provide to a relationship, and just be a wonderful woman.
Or equal. I wouldn't say, that you can't provide, because then it's the same thing for the same thing. Because women be talking about how much money they make and he need to match me. It's like, first of all, your money, he doesn't value your money, so that's a bad trait. You can trade bodies for bodies. You can say, if I look good and I'm in shape, then you need to look good and you could be in shape. You could trade that symmetrically. But I think everything else that men and women exchange isn't going to be the same thing, but it will have an equal value. So I think women, every time they ask for something, like you said, just ask yourself, well, what am I able to and willing to give in exchange for that? And that's kind of the dialogue and the conversation that I want to open up in the community, is to where it's less arguing and complaining and more negotiating. Because the complaints aren't changing, the accusations aren't changing, and the demands aren't changing. So if that's the case, then we need to start negotiating, because men are still asking for what they're asking for, and women are still asking for what they're asking for. And again, like I said, to reiterate, in my opinion, men have far more agency to acquire it than women do. At the end of the day, men are the deciding factor. Low quality men included, because they could just simply bust their ass and put more effort into whatever they got to do. And as hard as that's going to be, that's why they're going to have so much demands and so much expectations when they get on the other end. If I make myself successful, when I get on the other end, a woman ain't about to be dictating nothing to me. That's for sure. it's going to be my way or I'm getting on the highway to the airport. So I think women are, all they really have is choice. All women have is choice between the guys that are interested in them and choice in how they behave. Women can choose to be submissive, they can choose to be cooperative, they can choose to be supportive, they can choose to be loyal. That's about it. As far as actually raising their value, that's a tough one. I think it's really, really a tough one. Whereas men, the more they improve on themselves is the more buying power they have. It's the more leverage they have. If I want 10 wives, I promise you, what's in my bank account is going to influence me being able to find 10 women to agree to that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say? If I'm making average income, then I'm not even going to be able to find one woman that's going to agree to that to add the other 9 on. But once I'm making $1 million, I can find 10 women that will. I find 10 women that I could just be honest with them and be like, yo, you're number 4. Yeah. It is what it is. You know what I mean? All right, guys, we're out of here. If you're looking for beautiful single black women, come to ATL. But they're not going to compromise. They're not going to negotiate. They're just going to be dateable in the temporary, I guess. All right, bring some fake pay stubs, make it look like you make a lot of money, and you should be good. All right, and put get some boots made so you're like 2-3 inches taller, and you got it, bro. Height and money. That's all you gotta do. Just project height and money, and you should be able to last at least 12 days. All right.
Something went in my eye, literally, while you was talking.
And find a Haitian girl too. All right, man. We out of here. Peace.
Authentic Alphas, like and subscribe.
For the boys, leave a like and leave a comment on Authentic Alphas. Hit that bell. Hit that bell.